Good afternoon. Welcome to RSBN Live as we continue our live coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, we'll be going to the White House here to the Roosevelt Room in just a bit.
A big day, a big week, a big weekend for President Trump as he announced the Faith Initiative plus more executive orders from the Roosevelt Room in the West Wing. It's a joy to be with you here today, Matthew, and for yours truly, Robert McNeely here at Right Side Broadcasting, the right side of history, our live desk covering everything inside and outside of the Beltway. Lots of news happening. Of course, our southern border being secured, ICE and Border Patrol, along with our Marines, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in conjunction to make America safe again. We have the new HUD secretary banning any transgender athletics through his department. Also, President Trump will revoke the visas of any transgender athletes coming to the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, California. That's all in light of the executive order just the other day keeping biological men out of women's sports.
Exactly. So a ton of news, of course, as you just heard there, as we had a whole week of coverage. Actually, it's been a lot of coverage, even months before that, years before that as well. So a lot to cover here at the network. Again, and in just a bit, we're going to go directly to the Roosevelt Room. We're going to hear from the president there, a faith office announcement and those executive orders, to your point. And then, of course, later today, a little bit after that, he'll go from Marine One over to Joint Base Andrews and take off in Air Force One to the Winter White House in Florida. So a lot to get to, as this has been quite the day of coverage with the Japan Prime Minister that you just saw on our other live feed. And on top of that, we are at the bottom of the hour with about 48 hours until Super Bowl 59. So looking forward to seeing President Trump attend that game, the first time a sitting president has done such a thing.
Yes, and he's a big sports fan as well, posting on True Social that this might be one of the greatest competitions in the legendary competition of the National Football League, now in its 59th edition. Two of the greatest quarterbacks, one of the best running backs, and calling Travis Kelce the best tight end of all time. So I kind of think about Tom Brady and Gronk in this situation because that was one heck of a combo. But the Chiefs are on the verge of doing 3 in a row, which is unprecedented. I mean, some incredible athletic skill and a team like the Chiefs really representing the opinions of this great country from the right to the left to the middle. And you know what I've really appreciated, especially about Patrick Mahomes, that Brittany, his wife, they just had a baby as well, and President Trump celebrating that wonderful addition to their family. You know, the press actually pushed him in the locker room as well, saying, what do you think about Brittany saying all these different things and he's in support of President Trump? And he said, yeah, that's what's great about America. We can all have different opinions. It's about freedom of speech, and I'm here focused on the field. And the first job I have is to be a great husband and father to my wife and my children. And what a great answer, just to stick up for those you love most at home.
Exactly, 100%. And if you're wondering which team I'm rooting for on Sunday and which team Robert is, just look at our ties. You might get the answer right there. As I'm picking the Eagles to win 23, I did say 17 earlier. I'll stick to the original score there. He says that the Chiefs will win. We'll see what happens. Again, it'll be cool to see President Trump there at the stadium. All right, so it's the bottom of the hour. You just saw a little bit of a live picture of Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews. President Trump will be on his way to that plane in a bit, as we are seeing if we're going to get this live video, and also if not live, it would be just recorded just moments ago, and we'll be able to send you and show it to you here, where it's the Roosevelt Room, where President Trump is expected to make an announcement about a faith office at the White House and also some executive orders. So if we get that, we will definitely send that to you here at the network. Again, 3:31 p.m. Eastern Time. To your point earlier, you were talking about the Marines and the Army Corps of Engineers, that kind of thing, down at the southern border. And Director, the video we were showing earlier of the Marines putting up a lot of the barbed wire and metal wiring around the southern border. If we can get that up, that'd be cool. We can check it out and just know that it was just from a few days ago. It's great to see our country coming together in so many ways.
Oh, yes. It's really a well-oiled machine. 18 days into the new administration, and it was promises made, promises kept. That's why there was overwhelming support for President Trump. He had the most support of a Republican candidate since 1988, not just in the Electoral College, but also the popular vote, because a lot of people looked at this and said, forget the difference of Republican and Democrat. It's we the people versus incompetence, versus 4 years of really turning their backs on common sense. And President Trump, simply how many times now has he been in these EOs or memorandums, signing these mostly from the Oval Office, just shaking his head, being just disgusted with what took place over the last 4 years.
Exactly. It was such a terrible situation we dealt with in this country. So glad it went to the right side of history, and we're glad to cover it here at RSBN Live as we await this live feed from inside the White House. Now, if for some reason there's any change to the schedule inside the White House and there are certain feeds that don't happen, you just bear with us as we are a live desk, as Robert put it. RSBN Live here, we flow with what we see coming into the network here. And we will, just know this, we have all of the cameras where we need them to be in the sense of our access to the live feeds, including the Joint Base Andrews, where we just saw Air Force One moments ago. Let's see if we can get that video from earlier today, though, when it comes to the military down at the southern border. The U.S. Marines with the 1st Combat Engineer Battalion were deploying concertina. It's concertina wire, that's what it's called, along the southern border. So again, great to see that happening. As it's 3:33 Eastern, we are awaiting a number of things to happen here in our country. Of course, after so many executive orders signed, so many are signed, and it's wonderful to see that.
Oh, it really is. It's President Trump using his executive authority, something he reminded LA Mayor Karen Bass just 2 weeks ago when he was surveying the devastating fields of Pacific Palisades, what had taken place there. And he had the Army Corps of Engineers come on in and turn on that beautiful water, as you mentioned, Matthew, in the last hour. And the adjectives that are used, the comedy that's used to get the truth across the finish line, even at the National Prayer Breakfast this week. We found that USAID, a developing story and really a scandal taking place where they were creating state-run media. Politico has at least accepted $8.1 million, if not more, from that organization. They had a statement saying that that was not the case, but clearly, if you look at USA.gov, you can follow where the money leads, and that's taken place. And President Trump made a quick little joke there saying, oh, Politico has a seat here, and I hope you're enjoying your breakfast. So he has a way of taking things that are, disturbing and upsetting and almost shedding a light on them and smiling right in the direction of the people that would want to instill fear and falsehoods into this country. And President Trump just says, nope, we're going to do it a different way. We're going to use common sense, and we're going to make that appeal to the world. And you've seen such successful visits from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and also Japanese Prime Minister Shiba today. I mean, just a wonderful relationship in the making. And of course, he had the confidence of the late, great Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So sad what happened to him, a great gentleman of the highest order who was such a dear friend to the United States.
100%. Also on Breaking 911 about a minute ago, the USAID sign is being removed from 1300 Pennsylvania Avenue. So it's happening. We're seeing things just get changed around for the good for our country. USAID exit stage left, along with all that money that was going to all these terrible programs, including to the fake news media. Not good there. Of course, we're seeing a lot of reports about the before and after what the USAID headquarters looks like. Breaking 911 has that as well. As President Trump also says, he has directed Elon Musk to audit the Pentagon. So that's breaking news from leading report. So a lot going on out there.
Yeah, lots going on. And some of our colleagues in the media also asking President Trump, where is Elon going to go next? And he said he hasn't really spoken, terribly in depth in the last 18 days to Elon regarding that, but he's, allowing him to do what he does best, find where the fraud and waste is taking place. And President Trump offering that olive branch to federal workers saying, hey, you don't want to come back because you have to now based on my executive order. If you want to leave, basically you have 8 months to get by of back pay, and you can just leave. And now apparently 60,000 plus have now taken advantage of that. So the deep state going seemingly quietly at the moment, but it's those globalists who are lurking in the corner. And I think my favorite part of the presidency thus far, with all the successes, has been President Trump, the teleconference. He calls into Davos and just said, yeah, I'm going to slap tariffs on all of you, so get ready for that. And then we saw them as they were running around like little cockroaches in Switzerland trying to get away from press asking them, what do you think about this and that? Because, if they're going to lose a few $1 billion, I'm going to start crying for those globalist billionaires.
It was quite awesome to see that out there. Rebel News and others, in Canada, they do a great job as well when they go to Davos, as you saw one of the other years with the Pfizer CEO. But let's move on to the video that we saw earlier today. Just want to show you, just in case you haven't seen it, the video of the Marines taking care of business right there along the southern border outside of San Diego. This actually happened about 3 days ago, but still getting the video from the southern border there, seeing that is quite awesome. Look at all that wire, and that's what President Trump wanted to do, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion.
Right, and this is, really a sector that has seen a significant portion of border wall even prior to the Trump administration, but now they are really ramping it up. I mean, hard to cross to begin with, but even if you get up there, it's not going to be a good fall on the other side. So it's good to see that video. For people who are potentially thinking about coming over, do it the right way, do it the ethical way. We do know now as well, I'm sure in conjunction with Secretary Hegseth and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, the American government has found roughly 80,000 of the 325,000 children who are missing in the Biden administration. We pray that all are found. And this was a humanitarian crisis. Wherever you are on this position, I think it's a position of common sense that people came to, whether they be Republican and Democrats. We have to secure our border. You do not keep your doors open all night, especially if you have a young family. The same kind of concept here. Protect what is ours. Protect the dignity of each and every human being. And that was not the case with a porous border, not only at the southern border, but our border with Canada as well. There are Mexican cartels there.
Yeah, can you believe that? I mean, it was
Amazing.
in the executive order the other day,
Right.
and the fact that there are Mexican drug cartels north of us, not to the south only. But then it was great to see President Trump in action. I mean, he gave them those 25% tariffs, which are on pause now because the Mexican leader and the Canadian outgoing leader said, all right, listen, what do you need? And so those 10,000 troops from Mexican side will be there. And then also, stopping that fentanyl, stopping the crossings. And then in the northern border, personnel there as well for Canada.
Right, and I mean, if you look at the total loss of life because of illegal migrant crime and the fentanyl crisis, so hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, it could add up to numbers that are close to World War II, even the Civil War, which was our greatest tragedy here on American soil. So think about that, and it can be hard to relate sometimes if you're paying attention to the other news outlets that really aren't covering all of that. But if you know someone, you probably do. I know a few people, and I've heard of stories where they've lost loved ones as a result of what has taken place in the last few years, and it's terribly tragic. And simply, the Biden administration would not have adjusted the Trump remain in Mexico policies and the border policies, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But thank God, within 18 days, 95% of the border has been fully secured.
Exactly. All right, so obviously looking live at Air Force One there, parked at Joint Base Andrews. So the schedule is as follows, that the president is to make an announcement about the faith office inside the Roosevelt Room, and then also have some executive orders that he would sign. We'll bring you that live. Now, if for some reason that is being done now and there are no cameras in there, there may be a camera that gets in there and we're able to show you that on replay. But we're just going to follow everything we're getting with the live feeds right now. Also, we will definitely get, obviously, that vantage point as the president will be headed to the winter White House down in Mar-a-Lago. So it's 3:41 Eastern. It's a fluid situation, as they say. It's we're following it here, and we'll see if we'll get that Roosevelt Room. But still, at the end of the day, he did make the announcement about a faith office just yesterday at the National Prayer Breakfast, which would be led by Pastor Paula White, according to President Trump.
Extraordinary, considering that religious freedom and the freedom of speech were thrown out by the last administration. And we know that 23 pro-lifers, along with those J6ers, pardoned and commuted by President Trump, and thank God for that, because imagine going to simply protest and pray outside of a Planned Parenthood and then being held without bond or without a speedy trial. How unnecessary, how ridiculous. And that was one of those too, when as it's being read off with all those EOs and the memorandums and the commutations, the gentleman that helped serve President Trump in that role, President Trump signed that shaking his head, just saying how ridiculous. And now I did see, Matthew, it looked as if Marine One has left the South Lawn, but I don't know. If we'll get that playback. We'll bring everything to you.
Did you just see that live?
I did see that just a moment ago.
Okay.
As we have the camera on the White House. So, of course, it's not Marine One until the president is on it, but it was leaving the South Lawn there. So we'll stay on all of this for you and bring you playback as well as we receive all of that. And President Trump, again, unlike any other president, moving at a breakneck pace to make America great again. And his cabinet slowly but surely coming together. And we know that Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has been working overtime as she's been in New Orleans, making sure that the ground is secure there, not only for the president, but all of the football fans and attendees who will be in the Big Easy for that wonderful game on Sunday and throughout the weekend. But she was also on that ICE raid roughly 10 days or so ago with ICE in New York City to really bring to justice all of those who are the worst of the worst, committing crimes against children, child pornography, rape, and many other heinous crimes, many of them going to Guantanamo Bay now.
Yeah, and that's exactly where they're headed. There are 2 flights already to set all of the offenders there. It's just unbelievable to see the amount of people that are getting sent to Guantanamo Bay. But hey, it's the illegal aliens that have committed such crimes. That's happening. So also, maybe with that Marine One chopper, we don't know if the president was on board at that time or not, because I am seeing on C-SPAN, I have to give credit where credit's due, of course, they're saying at 4 o'clock, President Trump signs executive orders and picks Paula White to head White House Faith Office, and they're saying that that's happening at 4. So we'll have it for you. We're not going to go anywhere. Trust us on that. When we do go somewhere, it's only because we know that there's no live feed happening, or it might not be happening for several hours. That's the only times that we shift gears. But what we do know is we have that live White House shot there. We have the vantage point of Air Force One. So if the president is on Marine One, if we see him go up those steps, obviously that would be the end of the day of our coverage, most likely, unless anything else happens outside of the Beltway when it comes to breaking news. Of course, Robert McNeely will be holding down the fort for that as well here at the network. So, yeah, it's 3:44 Eastern, and we're going to roll with it here, and we'll watch with you as we get to see the president, whether it's at the White House or whether it's at the Air Force One plane there, or both. We'll see what happens.
I actually have somewhat of a good story of that, because every once in a while, especially when there's inclement weather or a schedule does change, sometimes it's not announced immediately. So there's a group back in the Chicagoland area that I would sing with, actually a church group, wonderful people, but they had the opportunity to sing at the Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery, very much like Arlington. You see those white stones just for blocks and blocks to see, if not a radius of several miles. A beautiful place where I actually participated over certain summers, Memorial Days, a great way to honor those fallen, for those who paid their last full measure of devotion and duty to this great country. This while it was in college, they told me later, because it ended up being somewhat of a funny story. Terrible storm came into the south side of Chicago. And President Obama was in his first term, addressing this beautiful ceremony. So the singer was very excited to see the then president, and they had to shut it down because of the inclement weather. Well, the motorcade went off. They went back into a tent for some refreshments, things of that nature. Sadly, the ceremony cut short. Out of nowhere, Secret Service walked in, and there was the president with them to say hello to the choir. And they told me about that moment. So rather special. Sometimes you never know when you might encounter the commander-in-chief in certain situations, or when a decoy goes this way or that way. And as you see there on the split screen, 3 of the choppers that can become Marine One. And of course, it only gets that designation when the President of the United States is on board.
So what we're seeing right now, obviously, is 3 of the choppers there, the Marine choppers. Paula White, of course, the person picked to run the Faith Office, has posted about an hour ago a story from Israel365news.com saying that the president has appointed the pro-Israel pastor Paula White to lead new White House faith office. So here's the thing. If for some reason there was no live feed, that's not our fault. So we know that as soon as we see something, we would send it to it. But if it's already been done and there were no cameras in there, that is different from the schedule that we saw from the public schedule for the president. So we were basing it on that, but we are connected here at the network with White House emails coming into us every day from the Office of Communications and a number of other ones as well. So why don't we do this? Let's just go there live. Let's see if President Trump, I mean, it looks like this might be him. So let's just watch and listen here at about 3:47 on Friday, February 7th. Okay, so we do have an update for you that the executive order signing in the Oval Office is now closed press. Closed press means exactly what that means. Nobody's getting that unless they feed something to us a little bit later. Then we can upload that to all of our channels. So this most likely is the President of the United States inside Marine One. Again, the executive order signing, if you wanted to watch that here and hear about the faith office, that is closed press right now, according to our COO. But here's the thing. If there is a recording of it, we will play that for you, whether on the channel here live or on Truth Social, on X, on our website, on Rumble, on YouTube. We'll post it for you. We have you covered here at the network. So let's take that live look back there at Marine One in, actually that is now Joint Base Andrews. So we could put down the Washington, D.C. bug if we want, but that's in Maryland there as we get ready to see the president. go back to that live picture, though, of course, hopefully of the Air Force One. But, saluting there with the U.S. Air Force as the president walking from Marine One to Air Force One. Hopefully we'll be able to see you see the rest of the staff and everybody heading down to the Winter White House. What a 3 weeks that was, Robert.
Yeah,
Holy smokes, man.
Extraordinary. I mean, he is a man on the mission, just a look of determination, and the way he respects our troops, our great Air Force and Marines. I just love the precision and the glitz and glam with all of it. It's just so special to have this age-old tradition of 250 years, a civilian-led military that has stood the test of time against all threats, foreign and domestic. I mean, President Trump is not going to back down, and it's so great to have that injection of alpha masculinity. Once again, someone who so loves this country. You think about it, he was simply a citizen and decided, you know what, remember back to 1987, that interview with Oprah. You know what, Oprah, I don't think I'll do it. I don't think I'll run for office, but it ever got so bad, have to do something about it. And he was so spot on for all these years.
So glad he did already in the first administration. That in itself leaves a legacy. And then the past 4 years as the leader of the free world, technically not in the White House under the fake Biden administration, another legacy left. I know it's usually a legacy is after a time of life, but he's just constantly creating amazing, amazing things. As we see the jetway pull away, that is Air Force One. It is 3:54. For those of you watching and expecting a number of executive orders, we're told it was closed press, meaning obviously no live feed into the Oval Office. However, if we get a feed that was recorded, we will replay that and share that with you. Whether on the timing is this. If the president, as he takes off, if we get that feed, we'll play it right here on the channel. If for some reason we don't get it until later, we'll upload it to all of our streams when it comes to Rumble, YouTube, on X, on Truth Social, and everywhere else that you could watch Right Side Broadcasting Network. So, Robert, why don't we do this? Why don't we just say, hey, you know what? Super Bowl 59 on its way. President Trump will be at the game. Looking forward to seeing the Eagles beat your Chiefs, even though your team is the Bears, but you're rooting for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We just want to thank you guys so much for streaming in. Robert, why don't you take it away and let's go there to a full screen.
Yes, a beautiful shot of Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. President Trump departing Washington, D.C. for the Southern White House in Mar-a-Lago. Such a wonderful estate. He'll get some R&R, but also this man works over the weekend. It's nonstop. And I'm excited to see what happens in the next 3 weeks. It's been an incredible pace for one of America's finest modern presidents, if not the best who's ever held the job.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we say goodbye for now? We'll keep the live shot up for the Air Force One as he travels to the Winter White House. If for some reason during that time we get the feed from the recording of anything with the executive orders, we'll go right back to that. But for all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, we thank MyPillow for being a great sponsor as well. And we thank you for watching. For Robert McNeely, I'm Matthew Alvarez. Let's go live to Joint Base Andrews right now.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.